bit of prefacing here. Even though it proved pivotal and it proved to be the game-winning, tie-breaking goal in the third period, I do not believe that the Stars beat the Jets yesterday because of this play. Good morning to you. Good Monday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. As close as I'm going to come to connecting this particular theme today to the Penguins is that I know for a fact that Tristan Jarry and Alex Nedeljkovic share my viewpoint on this, as I would imagine most goaltenders do. But it really is time, not because of what happened yesterday in Dallas, but just in general, for the NHL to knock off this notion that it's okay to score goals with your skates. Now, notice the way I'm phrasing that. I'm not saying kicking. I'm definitely not saying with a distinct kicking motion, as the rule book words it. I'm saying all of them. Just as in soccer, you can't use your hands, in hockey, you shouldn't be using your skates. But to really make my case, I have to, begin at the beginning, and that's when the NHL put in this rule. It was in 1996 when the league was desperate for more scoring. The Devils, and then after them, a handful of other teams began destroying the sport. Panthers came in. They were actually way worse than the Devils in this regard. The prevailing thinking was, we're not getting enough of these in the first place. The last thing we need to do is wave off the ones that we are getting. So the rule was modified to allow players to angle their skate, to change the motion. Well, I don't want to use the word motion here, to change the way the skate is positioned for the purpose of directing it into the net. As much as I was, and I don't know how far some of you would go back with me to remember this, but I used to really ride the league, and Gary Bettman in particular, about all the lost goals and the lost creativity and everything else. And as much as I wanted to see more offense, I didn't want to see these ugly, nasty, non-hockey looking things. Jarry actually used that term. It was at one point this season where he just said it's not hockey. And he's right. He's right. So with this play in Dallas, Alexander Petrovic of the Stars pounced on a loose puck to the left of Connor Hellebuyck right near the Winnipeg crease, and he kicked the puck in the direction of the front of the net. Hellebuyck made an attempt to play the puck. It did not go well, and the puck went back off of him and into the net. That did break the tie. The Stars went on to win 5-2. The reason I say that I don't really have a problem with the outcome is that not long after that, Mikko Rantanen, who's just out of his mind, scored a gorgeous goal to make it 4-2. And if Winnipeg's ever going to do anything in these playoffs, they got to start winning on the road and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the first question that gets asked, in this review, I don't even remember what the time was on it. It just took forever. You could tell somebody in league offices was freaking out because they either didn't know the rule, know how to apply the rule, or whatever. But here comes the first thought, and that is, did Petrovic use a distinct kicking motion? And it took a few replays, it took some super slow-mo and everything else, but it became clear in the end that he did. The left foot moved in the direction of the puck. Not much. But that's like offside, it's either offside or it's not. He didn't angle. He was moving the puck with the kick. Second thing, was he just trying to kick it to his stick? Doesn't matter. There's nothing in the rule book about intent or what you hoped to achieve. You either kicked the puck into the net or you didn't. No one's getting into any ESP in this one. Next thing, what happens if it hits off Hellebuyck? Well, that's in the rule book. If it's kicked and it hits off of any part of the goaltender and goes in, it's not a goal. Well, okay, so there it is. The Jets should win that and it would be overturned, right? Well, not so fast. The way the announcement was made to the crowd in Dallas by the referee on the ice was that the puck was kicked, but that it was Hellebuyck who put the puck into the net himself. And that's where it became evident that what the replay officials in conference with the on-ice officials eventually figured out from multiple camera angles was that the kick would not have put the puck in the net if Hellebuck hadn't been there to change its direction. Or as the official ruling from the league came down, and I'm reading it exactly here, that Hellebuck, quote, propelled the puck into his own net, end quote. To which Scott Arniel, Winnipeg's coach, bitterly complained, including after the game, that Rule 49 in the book, stay with me on this, it's worth it, says, quote, that a kicked puck that deflects off the stick of any player, excluding the goalkeeper's stick, shall be ruled a good goal. To which Arniel countered, quote, the rule states that if a puck gets kicked, it hits a body or a stick or anybody else other than a goaltender, it counts as a goal. Well, it hit our goaltender's stick and went in the net. That is no goal. So then they said that Helly propelled the puck in. Well, I haven't seen the word propel in the rule book, end quote. And he's right, the word propel is nowhere in there. But do you see how ridiculous it is? All right, so Pete DeBoer on the other side naturally was going to say that it was a good goal. His assessment was this, quote, I believe the rule reads that if Hellebuck's making a play on the puck, that it's a goal. So that's the difference. Does it just deflect off of him, or is he trying to make a play with the puck? I think they got it right, end quote. Which brings me all the way back to my point. Knock it off. Seriously, stop this. There's no way that Petrovic should have even had anywhere in his head that he could kick the puck in the direction of the net and presume that he'd get a goal out of it, even if he was just trying to kick it to his stick. But knock off the whole thing. It is not 1996 anymore. There are goals all over creation, and you want to know something? Most of them are pretty nice. Most of them have some high entertainment value, which is a wonderful way to sell this beautiful game to new fans. Watching people kick the puck in or angle their skates to put it in, it does nothing for the game. The game doesn't need those goals. Not anymore. And fittingly, almost as if to prove that, Rantanen's beauty came right after that. When we come back, J1Q. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Good J1Q for you today from Derek. He says, DK, I've been watching these Stanley Cup playoffs and I'm noticing a bunch of former Penguins. Kyle Granlund, Evan Rodriguez, Dmitry Kulikov, Riley Smith playing big minutes, making significant contributions, all of which appeared to have little value to Mike Sullivan and the Penguins. Do their performances say something about the Penguin system, Sullivan's limitations, chemistry, or something else? Usually, Derek, whenever I get a question that's got multiple examples in it, I'm inclined to go at each one individually, but only after I think about whether or not there's any sort of pattern to it. And really, with these four guys that you cited, and most guys that you could cite who'd fall into this category, I just don't have one. I just don't. Like, going through these, Granlund arrived here in terrible shape. He was part of the Erik Karlsson trade. He was, in fact, a lousy fit for the Sullivan system because he's not fast enough to get in on the forecheck. But I'm sorry, that shouldn't expose that you're not in shape. And I hope you'll just take my word for it that I know that for a fact. Now, whatever he's done since then, awesome for him. But you might recall yourself, he couldn't do anything, like anything, when he was here. Rodriguez is the one guy that I will really pin on Sullivan. I go back to when the Penguins had that chance to close out the Rangers a couple of years ago in the playoffs. Erod, who's usually really disciplined, super smart dude, took a really dumb Third period, retaliatory penalty. Rangers get the power play. They extend the series. Rangers go on to win in 7. I am told, not by Sullivan, but by people close to him, that he never was going to forgive Erod for that. Now, I'm sorry. I think that's a little over the top. I know how much he stressed discipline and, turning the other cheek and everything else. But man, on top of all else, don't forget that it was Erod that got you the big, big goal at the Garden in Game 7 on that breakaway. But that's a really good hockey player who didn't cost very much, who you just basically threw away over nothing. I will always pin that one 100% on Sullivan. Kulikov wasn't really here long enough for me to form an opinion in one direction or the other, to be honest with you. And Smith, I discard that one too. I just don't think he gave a hoot at all about being here. It might have been that summer for him because he had just spent all those months with his buddies, the Golden Knights. They just won the Stanley Cup. They were doing all their celebrations together. And then he has to show up in Pittsburgh and play with a bunch of guys and a team and a city and whatever. And look, some of that got disputed at the time, including by Smith himself in an interview with our site, DK Pittsburgh Sports, done by Taylor Haas. He told her he had no issue. I don't even know where that comes from, he said. But then you see him go somewhere else, meaning to the Rangers, and he's still not doing much. And then he goes back to the Golden Knights, and he's just the same guy he was when he was there. Magnificent last-second goal the other night and all. So do you want to pile all that on Sullivan? It's a little bit too easy. Derek, that'd be my answer for you. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.